their reference ranges were lowered because the standard around the world was lowering. It wasn't because they got it wrong. It was like, this is the new norm. This is the new average. So now we have a sperm health kind of spectrum, which is the lowest it's ever been. And if you pass that, you're deemed to be okay. But I'm telling you, you're not okay. You can go way better than that.
Who wants to be average at the end?
Who wants to be average? Like, yeah. Do you want your son or daughter to be like just average? Yeah, you'll love them if they are, but you'd prefer, if they had more.
Well, I just meant in terms of the sperm health.
Yeah, no, I know. I know.
I'm not trying to call a child average by any manner of means. All
true.
children are amazing.
Yeah, but it's like, it's a kind of I'm off the hook, and I'm kind of like, yeah. But if you knew the truth, you'd realize you weren't. You're never off the hook. It's a 2-for-1. It's a 2-in-1 game, whatever you want to call it. But
they've lowered the bar.
They've lowered the bar, but the problem with lowering the bar is that it's feeding into the mentality that it's you, not me. Even just more so. It's even easier to say it's you, not me now. But it's such a 2-person game. You both have to be firing. Like, you have to be at your best.
Yeah.
As best you can be. Maybe you can't get your best, but you have to be as best you can be. And the consequences of it are big. Like, they're huge consequences if you don't get it right, and they're huge consequences psychologically to the relationship if you don't get stuck in all the way, every step. It really shouldn't be the case that a guy doesn't know what's happening with the woman's fertility journey, nor vice versa. It shouldn't be the case. And if it is the case, you should take that as a kind of tap on the shoulder that there's some sort of communication issue.
Oh yeah, I think every man should really understand about the whole menstrual cycle and just know what's going on in terms of hormones. But it'll also make for better relationships because they'll know what's coming up, and if their partner's dealing with PMS, if they or especially at the time when they're trying to conceive and that final couple of weeks after ovulation and that waiting period, to waiting to find out if they've actually achieved a pregnancy.
The TWW. The 2-week wait.
Very, very difficult. And to know that a partner is supportive during that time and understanding, I think is really, it's a crucial time.
It kind of tests your mettle, I think, because you fail until you succeed. So you have way more failures than you have successes. And each month is a failure, in a sense, in people's hearts at least. Even if you're making progress, it's even harder if you can't see the progress. Like, that's one of the hardest things with clients. Like, you're making great changes, but it's not necessarily obvious that you're making progress. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it isn't. You have to kind of trust the process in a way. But it's like it's a constant reminder. And if your mind is thinking something's wrong with me, then you're reminded every month that there's something wrong with you. And if your mind is thinking, I don't know, he's not pulling his weight, he's not really with me on it, then every month you're going to be reminded that, and it just compounds on itself, and then it becomes the stressor. And let's go back to the earlier story. There's a lot of reasons to be stressed, but if you've got this tension, like elastic band type tension, in your nervous system, because you're thinking, I'm doing the work, he's not pulling his weight, or we're going to fail again. Resentment, all that kind of stuff. All of it comes into it. But it comes into it even in the best couples. It's like, even the best couples have some stress. And that, whatever you can do to minimize that stress is what stops the nervous system from diverting resources to where it thinks to fight the stress. So every small thing helps. And even down to, actually a small thing, it's not a small thing, but even down to having a purpose for your life. If you don't have a purpose, you might feel a bit more, I don't know where I'm going in life. That's a stress. It's a subtle stress, but it's a stress. But we're kind of gone off the point of the support for the couples. It's such a big thing, because that's such a big, obvious stress. That if I'm in this on my own, that's one of the worst feelings you could have when you're uncertain about yourself and you're not feeling whole, and all of a sudden you're also feeling like you're on your own. That the guy can do an awful lot about that. That's their job. It's like security, safety. I'm with you. No matter what happens, I'm with you. That takes an awful lot of pressure off. That's the way they have to talk. That's the way they have to think.
That's it. Yeah, the security. Well, have you passed me the book there?
All right.
I'm looking to this now, and I want to give people a bit of a shout out about the book that you've written recently.
Okay.
Getting Pregnant When the Body Says No. How women can overcome infertility. Tell us a little bit, Brendan, about where people can get the book. This is so far a work in itself. An absolute wonderful book. I haven't finished it completely because it takes a lot of just sitting with the information and, but it's phenomenal book.
I thank you. Yeah. So where to get the book? Well, you can get the book from my website. It's soft copy. You get it on Kindle. It's on Amazon, right? It's under that name on Amazon. Getting Pregnant When the Body Says No. But the soft copy's there. I get it on Kindle. But actually on my website, which is naturalfertilityconsultant.com, in about 2 days' time, I'll have the soft copy of the book available on that.
Today being October 12th.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So from about the 14th onwards.
Yeah,
14th of October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're saying you haven't worked through it yet, so I'll just tell you a bit about
Well, this is actually pretty much the programs that you run with.
That's kind of it's a kind of a synopsis of the So the fertility program was like kind of a way of capturing, trying to address multiple different possible causes. So in some people the program goes in one direction, for somebody else it goes in another direction. But actually, in the process of releasing a simplified version of the program, I've taken feedback from over the years, and it's like, particularly when I wrote the book, this is the story I was going to tell you. That when I wrote the book, it actually helped me to clarify my own thoughts on how I was approaching it and what was the underlying principle. And I've been talking about the kind of nutrition foundation there today. Like it's actually the writing of the book is what solidified that concept in my mind, that actually you get the foundation right, and you'll probably succeed just by getting the foundation right. So what I've done is I've kind of taken the bigger program and I've carved it up, so to speak, into like just a foundation phase. Mm-hmm. And that's a smaller program that's kind of easier for people to to do. But it's an online program. It's just like it's a series of steps. You just follow the steps on the program, and if you follow those steps, you'll get the foundation in place. And it's an easier thing to bite off for people rather than just the big program. So that was kind of something I took feedback from people and said, yeah, I need to do it this way. But the book helped me clarify how to do it. Mm-hmm. And so that's in some ways like the penny dropped, and I kind of, Jesus, why didn't I do it this way initially? It's actually it makes way more sense, Mm-hmm. But when I was writing the book, I was trying to capture the bones of the approach that I use. And as I was writing, I realized all the different assumptions that I had built into the program and the different ways that I would help a client or refer them to somebody that needed help and all the kind of different approaches. And it was like so big, I suddenly realized, God, this is like, I didn't realize like how kind of wide I'd cast the net over the years. And the book helped me realize it. So the book is like the wide net. And the program that I ended up changing because of it is like, I don't know, call it smaller nets if you like, but it's like more manageable, easier chunks to get into the program. Because everybody doesn't need the full program. That's what it turned out. Yeah. That was the problem.
So different tiers.
Different tiers. So, yeah. So like initially everybody was buying the full program, but some people were succeeding,
within the first couple of months.
Within the first few months, yeah. And it was kind of like, no, they didn't care because they succeeded.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, okay, you actually didn't need all the advanced stuff. So I've carved it up because I tiered it because of that. Yeah, that's the thing. But the actual book itself, I decided I'm going to sell it from the website. So I've just been working on that there lately as kind of a new thing. And I think in about 2 days' time I should have that ready. But the whole idea was I wanted to kind of be able to capture and communicate with the people who are getting it, so I could kind of get some feedback from them and figure out and improve it.
And you have some case studies as well.
Do I have
case studies within the book?
Oh, in the book
as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of make reference to some past clients in the book. It's not like I kind of like I used to.
There's no breach of confidentiality.
No, it's not. But it's not like one of the things I used to deliver case studies online to people. It's not like that. It's not like I start from the start and go through the case study. It's kind of like the different concepts that I'm trying to get across in the book. I've shown you in some cases where I plugged them where they made sense in certain cases, and because it's like, and
that's the personalised practice.
That's the personalised part, exactly. Yeah, the personalised part of it is actually the thing that you need for the more complicated cases. But what I kind of found is like that the foundation is generally applicable to most people, even if it isn't enough to kind of get you across the line, and you need some personalisation after that, it's still necessary before you do the personalisation. Yeah. So you got to climb a few steps, and then you see things from a different perspective, and then you have to reassess. And that's kind of the way I've broken it up. But so the book is, I think, one of the things I suppose, okay, to kind of diss it myself, but one of the things that I didn't expect was that the book would be as big as it is. You know, it just turned into like, and I even thought about, there was a whole section there. I thought, well, I leave that out, it's gone too big. And I was getting feedback from people, and they're like, yeah, I can see why you want to leave it out, but actually it's like kind of necessary for them to understand because it completes the picture. So I left it in. But it, you know, I don't think people will read the whole book. They'll read the parts that are relevant to them, and that's fine. That's fine, because I just want people to know that there's a path. In most cases, they can follow the path mostly on their own, and there's some logic to it. And I've explained to them. I think what I opened up the book explaining that one thing that a lot of people don't realize, which is that infertility is, you can kind of break it up into two classes, if you like. One is like what you might call permanent or organic infertility, like primary infertility. Yeah. So there's nothing you can do. You can't fix it. You need like a workaround. Maybe you need IVF, or you need surgery, or whatever you need to.
That could be where somebody even has, they're missing a part of anatomy.
They're missing their fallopian tubes or something. Yeah. Or like they're damaged, as some of my clients are damaged, so they have to go by IVF, which is a tough place to be, because even with the healthiest body, IVF is hit and miss. It's like it's mostly miss. But the other type of infertility is the most common one, and that's the one that I deal with, is the functional infertility, which means there's some functions that are not working properly, but they could work properly if you worked on the body.
Yeah.
You know, so you can optimize them to work properly, and that then rises the tide, or whatever you want to call it. It's like you can make the communication systems work better. You can reduce the inflammation. You can improve the nutrient intensity of nutrient intake of the body, and things just start working better. And then functions start working better. As I lay out in the book, it's like, if you focus on the one thing of getting your energy stability, energy production stable and reliable, the ripple effect is enormous.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the point behind it.
Absolutely. Now, before we leave everyone, are there final tips that you would give to, whether it's to an individual or to the couples that are out there? What would be your top tips? Okay, nutritionally speaking, aggressively identify any of the industrial seed oils that you're taking in your diet. Aggressively identify them and eliminate them. Okay.
Zero them out, not even 1%.
So
Zero them out.
Being meticulous about reading labels.
Meticulous about reading. Well, if you're going to eat processed food, then you have to read the labels. Yeah. But if you don't eat processed food, you don't have to read the labels.
Yeah. So fresh whole food.
It's fresh whole food.
It doesn't need packaging, or comes in minimal packaging.
Only eat real food that agrees with your body, or something was the line I came up with. It was my
grown on a plant, not made in a plant.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like, yeah, sure. So people are going to eat. You know, let's say you get, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't name a brand. I was going to say, I will, what the hell, Dalmio or something like this famous. Like, you're going to get some sauce, let's say. You think, oh, it's tomatoes and it's herbs. It is, but like, do read the ingredients. If there's like sunflower oil in it, you just assume that it's not going to help your fertility. Yeah. And because it won't, and it'll take 5 years to get it back out again. that would be one of the main things. And the thing is, if you differentiate between easy and simple, it's like, it's simple to do that. You identify it and you take it out. That doesn't mean it's easy, because now you have to get a replacement food, and there's a bit of work involved. But it's a big one. Tips. What else? Eat nutrient-dense foods and monitor your body. Learn how to monitor your body to notice if you're eating something that's affecting you. That's a kind of a... So
you could basically say to someone they could do a journal to track.
Yeah, that's how
symptoms, signs.
That's how I come across. Yeah. That's how I advise them. Like, track it in a book. You don't have to track everything. You just have to track your changes. Yeah. Right. So let's say you change your diet from. So I'm eating obviously bad diet. I didn't even get into smoking. Like, smoking is so obvious to me that it shouldn't even need to be said. Like, smoking is the biggest single introducer of free radicals into your body that you could get. So, but I get it's hard to get off it, and all. I get that there's issues with it, but like, it's a big thing.
And like, we're talking about male and female.
Oh yeah,
fertility.
Both. Yeah. Yep. I don't know why it is, but men are the ones that resist it more than women, giving up for some reason. I don't believe it's because they're more addicted to them. I don't believe that's what it is. I just believe it's a different mindset. But I was saying something before, the cigarettes, the nutrient-dense food. Oh yeah, tuning into your body. like tuning into your body is this thing that it takes a bit of work, but you need to track it. So if you're going to change your diet, if you this is what I was saying, if you're eating in a way that you know is just like easy, kind of not great food, and you already know it, you don't need a nutritionist to tell you, and you change your diet, that's going to be a lot of changes in one go. You cut out some stuff and you start eating more good stuff. Meat, fish, shellfish, vegetables, small amount of fruit. What you're looking for next is, so that's the nutrient density. What you're looking for next is anything that aggravates your body, and you have to like just take it out. You have to be honest with yourself and say, oh God, when I eat that, I get a kind of a pain in my stomach, or when I eat that, my stool gets too loose or too stiff or whatever, or when I eat that, I kind of, I can't sleep after 3 days. So there's like different layers of how you tune into your body, and one of it is immediate. Like you eat something and within an hour there's an effect. That's obvious. The ones that aren't obvious, if you eat something and 3 days later you have an effect. But that's what you have to aim for, because that's a common thing. So it's like, if you're not fully energized, sleeping properly, you can say to yourself, well, something's wrong.
With at least one, if not more, bowel movements a day, properly formed.
Yeah.
That are just getting rid of the excess toxins and old hormones and various other chemicals. I think that's one thing that people just don't realise, is that they say, oh, no, I am going to the bathroom. I go every 3 days. They think it's normal. And it's like, no, it's very common to be like that, but that's not normal. Your body should be eliminating. That's also key. So,
like one of the things that I go through that people who buy the program go through is identifying their stool. So I have a whole kind of like a short but sweet isn't the word I should use, short and sweet module on that. But it's if you use the Bristol stool form scale, if that's all you do to check, reference your own stools, that's probably that. If you just want to do one thing, do that thing. Go by the Bristol stool form scale. You can download it. It's just pictures of poop and numbers of 1 to 5, and aim for the optimal one. And if you don't have the two middle ones, then there's something wrong with your digestion. That's the best indicator. No, there's more to it than that, but if you're just going to use one, that's the best one to use. So
I can put some of these resources on.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Show notes.
Yeah. So if you're just looking for something to help you tune into your body and track your stool, and use the Bristol stool form scale, and keep making changes until it optimizes, and you'll notice enormous effects on your body. Yeah. It's a very simple way of using it. I'm thinking about it.
Okay. Anything else before we wind up, as they say?
I think I'm done.
No last words of wisdom.
You got to. This is very subtle, but like you got to trust yourself to find a way, because it's a complicated and emotional roller coaster. You got to trust yourself to find a way, and you got to be prepared to take help from lots of different places, whether it's natural help or a doctor or a specialist or whatever. You got to be prepared to put it all together and resist doing the thing that most people do, which I call having a mono mindset approach. Like if you just take one approach, like say the medical approach, you're probably going to regret it. You might be lucky, but you're probably going to regret it. And even this is like, even if you succeed in getting pregnant, having made no fundamental changes to your diet or your lifestyle, because you use Clomid, great, that's fantastic. But you got to think, well, there was something wrong that caused that in the first place. I didn't fix it. Is there going to be knock-on effects even after pregnancy, or even on the child, in terms of like, do I have to think about that? Yeah, you have to think about that. You have to like optimize your diet for pregnancy as well as for getting pregnant.
Yeah.
So it's very important. Yeah. So I mean, if you take a mono mindset approach, you're probably going to like pay for it somewhere else. That's a hard way to say that, but that's true. You know. Yeah.
Well, Brendan, thank you so much for joining me.
It was very enjoyable.
The podcast today. I have to say, I can hear the passion that you have, and you're a very compassionate person, I have to say, and I appreciate you coming in, and I appreciate you being a colleague and sharing all your knowledge and wisdom, because I'm sure, like, the book in itself, it contains so much information, and you're sharing so much with potential couples, or fertility couples. That it really is. It's a gift.
Thank you.
To give to people.
Thank you
I have
very
to
much.
say. And you've lots more to share over time, I'm sure, and we'll probably do many more podcast episodes together.
It's an endless conversation.
And they may be marathon episodes like this particular one, given that we both have a propensity for chat.
Yeah.
You know,
I enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, so until next time, I will tune out.
Okay. Bye, guys.